Yo, what's good, YouTube? This is Jay from TNJ. This is a guy that took over for Mike Majette in the first season, and he took off from there. Look at the yards per carry, 5.5, a little bit down from last year. But if you look at everything else, I mean, he's on pace to just shatter everything. He's on pace to have more carries, more yards per game. He's already at 114 yards per game. 12 touchdowns compared to 16 last year. His longest rush was 62 last year. He hasn't broken that long run, but he definitely has just a lot of good 10 to 20 yard gains. And then the yards after first hit, he's breaking a lot of tackles this year. If you look at his statistics, he's not great overall, but I think this is just one of those guys that plays better than his overall. 90 speed, 92 carrying, which I didn't know it was that high. No wonder he never fumbles. Jinx, I mean, I might jinx myself saying that, but awareness 82. So he's a solid running back, and I have him for another season. But the reason why I'm spotlighting him right now is look what I am looking at right now. The Heisman watch. Devontae Williams is actually number one right now. And if you look who's behind him, Saquon Barkley, who did not go pro. If you look at it, he has 9 rushing touchdowns, so I think that's 3 more behind me. Yeah. So, and then Jacob Eason behind him, then Sam Darnold and Jalen Hurts. So as you can see, Devontae Williams just exploded onto the scene, and he is number one in the Heisman voting. Let's just look at our conference standings, the way we shape up at this point in the season. We're 6-0. 6-0. Michigan is ahead of us. Maryland is actually 5-1 as well. Let's look at their schedule. I mean, they just lost 3-48 to Michigan, so they're obviously not ready for the big boys. They play Penn State, Ohio State, then us. I mean, that's a tough schedule. But we are going up against Michigan State this game. How the mighty have fallen. They are 2-4. They lost to UNC, Wyoming, Wisconsin, and Iowa. I mean, wow. I mean, Michigan State this bad right now. I just cannot believe it. Let's look at the other side. Iowa's actually number one on that side. I think they lost. Who did they lose to? They lost to Wisconsin last week, yeah. So, I mean, this side of the bracket isn't very good. I was expecting Minnesota to maybe make a surge, but they haven't really done anything up to this point. But on our side, as you can see, Michigan, Maryland, Ohio State, Penn State's 5-2. And I was expecting them to be really, really good because they have Trace McSorley returning and Saquon Barkley. So, I guess they'll have to pick it up, but let's just look at where the rest of our guys rank as far as statistically. So passing leaders, Peyton Ramsey is 35th in the league in the NCAA. Devontae Williams is still only 18th in yards. I mean, he's not up there in yards, but those touchdowns, I guess just like touchdowns and yards per game. I mean, that Georgia Tech running back is just straight beast in this year. And Walton from Miami also is up there, top 5. Receiving leaders, Richard is only 41. He is our leading receiver. He's a tight end, but he's 41. I mean, he's still 500 yards away from the next guy, 1,000-yard receiver at Cal. Wow. And then on the defensive side, we're just balling out of control. Crawford leading the nation in tackles, Ball right behind him, and Jones in the 4 spot. Raekwon Jones, that is, outside linebacker. And then Wilson's actually up there in sacks. He's 8th in the country in sacks. I mean, he's been actually a bright spot on our defense, on our defensive line. We thought we wouldn't have pass rush. And then Riggins, man. Riggins is holding down the slot position. He's 10th in the nation with 4 picks. Rutledge, man, I'm looking for him to just like have like a 3-interception game or something like that. Just explode as a freshman. But, man, we're going up against Michigan State. 2-4. I'm disappointed with how they shaped out. I don't know why they're so bad. It doesn't make any sense. They have a solid team. They're losing to bad teams. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. But let's just hop into this, man. Kirk Herbstreit picked us to win this game, so let's get into it. Let's go. So, East Lansing is still a top 15 tough place to play. Don't be fooled in this game because this is going to be a tough matchup. They still have the same offense back. They have LJ Scott getting the handoff here. They have Brian Lewerke at quarterback still. And they pretty much have their same team. They did fire their head coach, D'Antoni. So they have a new regime in Michigan State. But here on a 4th and 1 early in this first quarter, we have LJ Scott stopped in the backfield. But Our man cannot make the tackle. That was Crawford there on the missed tackle. And just like that, the Michigan State Spartans go up by 7 points in this first quarter. But what are we going to do? We're going to give the ball to our Heisman candidate here, Devontae Williams, to start out the game. Giving the ball to our freshman next, Michael Wilson. And on play action on a 2nd and 6, almost at the midfield marker, giving the ball to Joe Richard, baby Gronk. And he's been kind of quiet lately. I mean, he hasn't had huge games, but he's been quiet after a big, fast start to his freshman campaign. He's kind of slowed down a little bit, but here we are, man, inside the red zone. Ramsey's going to find Timian down the sideline up into the about 4-yard line, and Devontae was going to get the ball, tie this game up at 7, and he's doing what he does best, getting into the end zone, and the Michigan State Spartans take over, giving the ball to LJ Scott. He is pretty good. I mean, he's a senior at this point, so I wouldn't expect anything less, but he is just a monster getting the ball. But here they are finding their receiver there, Stewart, for the 36-yard gain. Lewerke finds his receiver, but we do stop them on a 3rd down and force a long field goal, and this one's going to be missed. So we do take over on the missed field goal, getting towards the 50-yard line, giving the ball to Simi Cobbs there on the open slant route across the middle. But on a 2nd and 1, Ramsey is showing his legs off, getting up past the 50-yard line. Next, getting the ball to Joe Richard. And Joe Richard, man, I'm telling you, man, I'm so glad I have him. But now that I do have him, there are a lot of like double tight end sets where my back end tight end has to get in. I need to recruit a backup tight end because Joe Richard can't be on the field all the time. And especially when I get him the ball probably like 2 or 3 times, or I run no huddle, he's off the field in a couple of probably like 5 plays. He gets off the field for like a few plays, and he gets tired really, really easily. So I do need to recruit a backup tight end to spell him because, man, he's such a weapon. If I can get a second tight end that's a weapon like that, it'll be a problem. So on a 3rd and 11, Michigan State almost at the 50-yard line. LJ Scott, that's actually London, the backup running back, gets the screen pass, doesn't get the first down, so we do force the punt on that one. But Ramsey trying to roll out their athletes. They have some pretty good athletes on the defensive line, so they forced a punt right back. So Lewerke takes over and finding his receiver Davis, who was actually there last year. I remember he had a pretty big game versus us last year, and here he is finding his tight end. That's going to be Soko there for the 31-yard reception, and they're going to get inside the 5 here on a 3rd and inches, finding their receiver there. That one's going to be Rising for the 6-yard reception touchdown. And just like that, Michigan State goes up by 4. So this is turning out to be a pretty good game here. About to go into halftime, trying to get some points here. And Ramsey rolls out, gets the first down. So on the hurry up, the clock stops. And we find Timian deep down the field there, getting almost into field goal range. But on a 2nd and 14, we force the ball to Michael Wilson there, and the defender's gonna run it down to the 15-yard line. So what a mistake there by Ramsey. A little bit too late on that throw, and that was good coverage by the cornerback. Gotta give him credit. So here they are taking over inside the 10-yard line, and on a 3rd and 1, a perfect play call with the counter there. LJ Scott getting in for the 8-yard touchdown. And just like that, we thought we were going to have maybe a 1-point deficit if we would have got the field goal there. But instead, we throw another pick, and that one's going to be picked off by their linebacker this time. Joe Richard could not get open. That one was just a good play by the linebacker. He gets open. But on the exact next play, throwing the ball deep to their receiver, and he's going to get in for the touchdown. And just like that, we go down by 3 scores going into halftime, and we have a lot of ground to make up. So we had to establish this run once again because they're covering our receivers pretty well with that man coverage because they're expecting us to throw every play. And that's one thing I love about this game. The computer makes pretty good adjustments to your offense. If you run the ball a lot, they're going to stack the box. They're going to send blitzes to stop the run. And if you throw the ball out, I mean, they're going to play man coverage because they know that their athletes are better than yours. So they're going to stick up that man. But we do get a field goal on the first possession of the second half. But LJ Scott, they have LJ Scott on their side, so they can't go wrong. Lewerke is finding the receiver, Felton Davis, over the middle. He's squeezing in between the safety, which I was using, and then the man coverage. But Lewerke, man, he's just working all parts of the field. Look at these slant routes. He throws the deep routes. He's throwing the corner routes. He's just killing us, slicing up our defense. And where is my pass rush on this? Not getting any pass rush because Lewerke is finding his receiver one more time, getting inside the 10. So on the goal line, finding the tight end in the flat, and another score given up by this Indiana Hoosiers defense. The defense definitely did not come to play. But look at this play. I get the ball back on a 1st and 10. My receivers are locked up, so I try to scramble out, but I try to scramble either way. I could not get open there, and I actually throw the ball away. So on a 3rd and 21, after the intentional grounding call, I find Joe Richard there for the 24-yard reception. After getting all that yardage back, I drop back, throw the ball to Harris there. Just Sean Harris getting past the 50-yard line. So Ramsey, he's looking good right now, rolling out to the right, finding Donovan Hale, the ex-kick returner, getting smacked there inside the 10. But we give the ball to Mike Majette to finish off that drive. And the Indiana Hoosiers, at least were showing some offense, because it could be a bad game where we don't show up on defense and don't show up on offense, but we're at least fighting here. But LJ Scott is just a man. He is just breaking every tackle, getting up. I mean, these like 3-yard gains that we're getting him in the backfield. Look at this. Look at that vision. I mean, he's just finding the cracks in the defense and getting through the hole. These are all like 15, 13-yard gains, but on a 2nd and 14, Lewerke gonna drop back, throw all the way across the field, and finding Felton Davis. Look at this catch. He keeps his foot in bounds, and he gets the catch there. So Michigan State once again goes up by 3 scores, and Lewerke, I mean, he's just looking like he is just killing. I mean, who throws across the field, all the way across the field, perfect on the dime, for his receiver to get 1 foot in bounds? I mean, this is just an all-around domination performance from Michigan State. But we do have a chance to come back here. But on a 4th and 4, we attempt to go for it because we have to, and it gets batted down there. So the Michigan State defense shows up when they need them, but they do have to go for it here on a 3rd and 2. They pass the ball out into the flat, so we force the punt there. We get the ball back. So Devontae Williams, under 4 minutes left in this game. We're gonna be trying to move the ball here, try to get some simple throws, trying to get it. And look what happens. God. Wilson makes the move on the corner. Look at that move that he makes. Catches the ball, stutter step back juke, and he gets in for the touchdown. But nothing to celebrate here because we're still down by 2 scores. So we do have to kick the onside kick, and just like that, Michigan State recovers. Not only did they recover, they just got like 10 more yards after that recovery. So this game's still not over, but on a 4th and 3, we do force them to kick the field goal. So they make it a 3-score lead once again. So Ramsey, 2 minutes left in this game, just about, finding Simi Cobbs, but this might be too little, too late for the Indiana Hoosiers. It might be our first loss on the year. So Ramsey throws deep, and this time he overthrows Simi Cobbs, and that makes it official. This game is over. The Indiana Hoosiers, ranked 7th in the nation, go to Michigan State, get upset. And man, this was a tough one to swallow, especially with those 2 interceptions right before half. That killed us, because look at that, we lost by 10 points. So we take those 14 points back, and we may have won this game. But Luke Timian gets over 100 yards. Richard gets a garbage time touchdown, which I cut out. But the defense, man, no sacks, no interceptions. I mean, nothing. I mean, the defense just, I mean, they just didn't show up. As simple as that. So we're going to be looking for a bounce back game next week versus Rutgers. So hit subscribe, hit that like button. We'll be back. Let's see where we end up in the rankings.